Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I hope you had a lovely spring break. Today, we're going to continue our work with something we've already worked on previously, a little bit of a review, but we're going to be looking at the number of solutions of a quadratic function, and that's called the discriminant, which is the part in the quadratic equation underneath the square root to determine how many solutions that has. Now, remember, when we're looking at number of solutions, what we're actually looking at is how many times the parabola crosses the x-axis, and it goes by many names. It goes by zeros, roots, x-intercepts, or solutions. So let's go ahead and take a look at an example. Here we have 3x squared plus 5x minus 10 is equal to y. Now remember, that can be equal to f of x equal to 0. But your very first step in order to solve this is to rewrite the equation in standard form. We know that's ax squared plus bx plus c. And as you can see in this specific case, it's already in that form. Therefore, this is a sometimes step. And in this case, it's already taken care of. Now, once we've done that, our second step is we're going to go ahead and pull out our a, our b, and our c. In this case, our a is equal to 3. Remember, your a is always the number that is in front of the x squared. Our b is 5. Your b is always the number in front of your plane x, your coefficient. And finally, your c is negative 10. Remember, that's going to be the constant. Now, make sure it's in standard form before you start looking at this. Now, we're going to go ahead and find the discriminant. Now, remember, our discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. It's the part of the quadratic formula that's underneath the square root. So we're going to go ahead and plug in a, b, and c into this formula. So our b squared becomes 5 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 10. Now, when we're solving this, we solve it as two problems. Our first problem is we're going to go ahead and do our square. So 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. This first number will always be positive. We're now going to do a second problem, which is a simple multiplication problem where we multiply all three numbers together. Negative 4, always negative 4, times a and c. So negative 4 times 3 times negative 10 is positive 120. We finish up by adding those together, and our answer is 145. When I ask you for the discriminant, this is your answer. 145 is the discriminant for this specific problem. Our word of the day today, our magic word to earn you 5 extra credit points, is seagulls. I bet you guys are missing our seagulls at Morro Bay High School. I know I am. Continuing on, now that we know that the discriminant is 145, it's time to analyze that number and use it to find how many solutions there are. Now, there's three options for this number. It can be a positive number, it could be the number 0, or it could be a negative number. If it's a positive number, it shows that you have two roots. As you can see in my little diagram here, that means that it crosses the x-axis in two different spots. Now, if it's 0, it means you have one root, and that means that the vertex is actually on the x-axis and you're only going to have one. Now, if your discriminant is a negative number, that means that you have no roots. That means that your parabola is not going to cross the x-axis. Kate, that means that this case, you had a discriminant of 145. That's a positive number, so you know you're going to have two roots. Now, after this, you guys are going to go and practice this on Desmos. I've added a new component where when you type in your answer, it will tell you whether or not you got it right or whether you need to redo it and until you get it correct. So that's kind of exciting. I've been working on that over spring break. And then you're going to have the same type of option here for your Khan Academy, 70% or better, where you guys are going to go ahead and find the discriminant and tell me the number of roots. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope to see you soon.